Have you ever wondered why so many people wake up exactly at 3 a.m.? Maybe you've experienced it yourself, suddenly opening your eyes, looking at the clock and thinking, again? Well, that's not just a coincidence. There is a hidden secret in this hour, something most people ignore, but it could be the key to winning battles you don't even realize you're fighting. The spiritual world is real, and at 3 a.m. it becomes even more intense. It's as if a silent calling echoes in your heart, summoning you for a special mission. Some believe it's just insomnia, others even fear this awakening, but the truth is, there is a calling happening now, and understanding it may completely change how you see your nights. You will discover that this hour is far more than superstition or chance. It is strategic. It's the time when darkness rises, but also when God awakens warriors to fight, intercede, and align themselves with His greater purpose. And those who learn to obey in this moment find strength, peace, and direction that transform not only the night but the entire day ahead. Few people talk about this deeply because few truly understand the weight of this hour. But in this video, you will dive into something that may revolutionize your spiritual life. You'll understand the calling, perceive the power in this awakening, and discover how prayer becomes a weapon to overcome. Get ready. What you will learn here may be exactly the answer you've been waiting for. And maybe after today you will never look at the clock striking 3 a.m. the same way again. Many don't realize it, but something special happens when the clock strikes 3 a.m., known by some as the fourth watch. This period has been seen for generations as an open portal, where darkness begins to lose strength and the human spirit feels a different calling. In this silence of the night, divine purpose becomes clearer, and those who are awake notice it's no accident. There is a silent invitation to awaken. Think about it. While most sleep, you feel the impulse to open your eyes as if someone is summoning you. This calling now is not just about getting out of bed but about obeying something greater, a mission that transcends mere living. It's a secret convocation, a reminder of the invisible battle taking place. Those who grasp this no longer see the night the same way. In this stillness, spiritual strength comes alive. The body may feel weak, but the spirit strengthens when it chooses to pray, intercede, or simply listen. It's no coincidence that so many traditions speak of this period as a time of power. It's as if heaven itself draws closer and the cross, symbol of victory, becomes even more present. Obedience in this moment carries eternal weight. Imagine, for example, someone struggling with anxiety or questions about their calling. At 3 a.m., they might find in the silence the answer that never came during the day. A sincere prayer in this instant has more weight than 1,000 rushed words. It's as if God whispers, "Stop, listen, and I will show you the way." Few notice it, but it's a key to victory. Thus, the 3 a.m. hour becomes more than a number on the clock. It's a living reminder of a constant convocation. The Spirit is called to fight darkness, intercede with faith, and obey without hesitation. Whoever responds to this calling discovers a power that redefines their routine. And maybe that's why, in the next point, waking up at this time is often seen as a direct call from God. When someone repeatedly wakes up at 3 a.m., it's rarely just coincidence. Often, it is a calling now, a special invitation from God to rise in prayer and intercession. It's as if the Spirit gently whispers, "This is the time to obey, to listen, to align with my purpose." This awakening is not meant to bring fear, but to remind you of a mission taking place in the spiritual realm. This hour can be seen as a divine convocation, a secret password to access deeper levels of the Spirit. Think of how soldiers are called into combat in the dead of night, prepared to win battles unseen by others. In the same way, the one awakened at this hour is like a chosen warrior, ready to obey and stand at the cross in intercession. Many people who experience this testify to an unusual strength, even when the body was tired. Some witnessed chains breaking in their families and darkness fleeing as they prayed. In that moment, obedience became a powerful weapon, and prayer a shield against invisible attacks. The simple act of rising and kneeling can change entire stories. Be honest, how many times have you woken up at this hour and ignored it, falling back asleep? Maybe the calling now was precisely to intercede for someone in need at that very moment. Sometimes it's not about your life but about a nation, a city, a distant friend. The vocation of an intercessor often reveals itself when he obeys the awakening, even without fully understanding why. Therefore, waking up at 3 a.m. is not just insomnia or chance. It's a convocation carrying power, mission, and purpose. It's as if God were saying, rise and fight. And if you respond, you'll discover that the silence of this hour opens doors that remain closed during the day. After all, it was exactly in this period that Jesus performed great acts, as we will see next. In Scripture, the fourth watch, between 3 and 6 a.m., is no trivial detail. It was in this period that Jesus walked on water, overcoming the darkness of the sea and showing that faith can conquer the impossible. This spiritual awakening is not only symbolic but a demonstration of power and purpose. Each act in this hour reveals a divine convocation at work. Jacob, for instance, wrestled with God through the night and was forever changed. What seemed an ordinary struggle became a calling now, a mission that transformed his identity. He was invited to obey even through pain, and the cross of surrender became his symbol of victory. It shows us that the quietest hours can carry the Spirit's most decisive battles. In another scene, the disciples were terrified in a storm until Jesus appeared, walking on the sea. Imagine their hearts awakening in that instant. From darkness came an eternal testimony. This is the same convocation God extends today, not to walk literally on water, but to obey His voice in the storm. Reflecting on this, we see that waking at this hour may be more than inconvenience. It may be a chance for deep encounters. Just as Jacob received a new identity, many find clarity in their calling at dawn. Silence becomes a stage for revelation, and obedience a weapon against doubt and inner battles. These examples show the night is not a time of weakness but of spiritual strength. It is when God's purpose manifests most clearly. That's why many awakened at this time feel called to intercede, watch, and align with the Spirit. And this awareness leads us to the importance of spiritual sensitivity. Spiritual sensitivity is like a radar catching what the natural eyes can't see. When someone wakes at 3 a.m., they shouldn't ignore the calling now, because perhaps it is the moment the Spirit is invited to obey and intercede. The night silence becomes the perfect stage to hear God's voice, and those attentive discover obedience opens doors no human strength could. Many think sensitivity means only visions or supernatural voices. In truth, it's about availability, answering the convocation without fully grasping the purpose. It's like answering the phone not knowing who's calling but trusting it's important. Prayer becomes the response that activates divine power, and the cross reminds us this sensitivity is born from a battle already won. People share different experiences. Some feel peace, others an unease that only leaves after prayer. Both show the Spirit being called to move. This vocation isn't for a chosen few but for all who choose obedience. And every time they answer the calling now, they strengthen their inner force to fight darkness and win. Practically, cultivating sensitivity can be simple. Someone waking at this hour can start small. Pray for the day ahead, intercede for family, or just give thanks for life. Small acts of obedience, repeated constantly, become powerful habits shaping character and aligning the heart with purpose. Thus, waking at 3 a.m. should not be seen as disturbance but as opportunity. Spiritual sensitivity is what separates those who just wake up from those who truly answer the convocation. And this awareness prepares us for the reality of the spiritual battles happening at this hour. At 3 a.m., the physical world is silent, but in the invisible, a true battle unfolds. Many call this the peak of darkness, when opposing forces rise to weaken the human spirit. Yet it is precisely then that God summons prayer warriors to fight and win. This calling now is not for everyone but for those who know their mission and obey without hesitation. It's striking how at this hour dark thoughts, fears, or restlessness can suddenly appear. It's not only a tired mind but often a reflection of a spiritual war. The one who rises to pray stands as a soldier holding the cross in battle. The power of obedience turns that quiet bedroom into a battlefield where victory or defeat is decided. Imagine someone suddenly awakened feeling a strange heaviness. Instead of yielding to fear, they choose to pray, declare faith, and intercede for their home. That single act of obedience can break invisible chains, drive out darkness, and bring peace to the house. It proves that when the Spirit answers the convocation, even the atmosphere changes. Warfare can include specific prayers, calling on Jesus' name, declaring promises, or softly singing a hymn. These may seem simple, but they carry force no darkness can resist. This mission is not for the spiritually asleep but for those awake to obey the calling now. Thus, 3 a.m. reveals itself as a strategic combat hour. The body may be weak but the spirit is strengthened in prayer. Those who grasp this secret discover the night isn't just for rest, it's a field where invisible battles are won. And often from this combat comes the true spiritual awakening, leading to personal growth. When someone is repeatedly awakened at 3 a.m., they should not see it merely as annoyance. Many times, it is a spiritual awakening, a calling now for something new about to begin. This moment can be the sign of a new season being released, a time when the Spirit is invited to obey and align with God's purpose. Personal growth is born from sensitivity in answering this convocation. It's amazing how small decisions at this hour can reshape entire routines. A short prayer, sincere intercession, or even silent obedience before the cross can mark the start of life change. This awakening is, in truth, a call to grow, to fight darkness, and to win inner battles that would go unnoticed in the busyness of the day. Many testimonies show that at this hour people received clear revelations about their mission. Some discovered their ministry calling, others discerned the next step in relationships or careers. What seemed like a restless night turned into a portal for God's power. This awakening is not about losing sleep, but about gaining direction. Practically, those desiring growth can keep a notebook by the bed to write down impressions. A word, an idea, or even a dream may become the key for important decisions. This habit exercises obedience, strengthens the spirit, and brings clarity of purpose. It's like training the eyes to see the invisible. Thus, the 3 a.m. awakening is not only about getting up, it's about maturing. It's God's convocation for someone to realize their life is part of something greater. And this growth, nourished by obedience, prepares the heart to see how the silence of the night becomes a divine stage. The silence of the night has a power many underestimate. When everything is still, no cars, no phones, no outside noise, the spirit finds space to listen. This is when the calling now becomes clearer, as if God takes advantage of darkness to speak with precision. Those who obey learn that the night is not empty but filled with purpose. Think of how modern life bombards us with noise all day. Work, traffic, conversations, and endless responsibilities. Yet at 3 a.m. all that fades, leaving only the inner voice inviting to prayer. In this environment, the Spirit finds sensitive hearts, ready to intercede and align with divine power. Silence, which many fear, becomes a stage for revelation. For example, someone facing tough decisions may use this moment to seek clarity. By praying in silence and simply sitting before God, they may sense a clear direction. Silence is not lack of answer, but the language of the one who governs all things. In this space, the cross stops being only a symbol and becomes an encounter. The silence of the night also teaches discipline. Obeying this convocation requires strength, since the body desires sleep while the spirit desires presence. It's in this struggle that faith grows. In choosing obedience, one learns to win even before dawn. And those who experience this power come to treasure every moment of prayer. It's like discovering a secret hidden in routine, which naturally leads us to understand the role of night prayer in this awakening. Prayer at night carries special weight. When someone answers the calling now and rises at 3 a.m. to pray, they are not just speaking words but joining a spiritual convocation. This is when obedience opens invisible paths, and intercession becomes a weapon to fight darkness. Night prayer is not just discipline, it is mission. Testimonies abound of prayers at this time bringing extraordinary answers. People found healing, deliverance, and direction for major choices. It's as if the night were a clear channel, without interference, where the Spirit connects directly with God's power. The cross seems closer, reminding us that each prayer echoes in heaven with eternal weight. Practically, someone awakened can intercede for their family, projects, or even unknown people. Imagine the power of silent intercession when everyone else sleeps. This mission is reserved for those who respond to the convocation, obeying unseen but witnessed by heaven. Night prayer also awakens heightened sensitivity. Words that feel routine in daylight gain unusual intensity at 3 a.m. Simple declarations become statements of victory, filling the heart with strength to win invisible battles. Prayer is more than asking, it is fighting and standing firm. So, night prayer is not a burden but a privilege. Each dawn becomes a living altar, a sacred space of intimacy and power. And in this environment, it becomes natural to write down spiritual impressions, so none of the revelations are lost. Often, God speaks subtly in the night, a dream, a vision, a quiet word in the heart. If not recorded, it may fade in minutes. That's why keeping a spiritual journal beside the bed is part of the calling now. Writing is an act of obedience, honoring what the Spirit reveals, and training strength to organize purpose. How many great ideas came at unexpected times? Artists, leaders, even scientists say their best inspirations came at night. Likewise, in the spiritual realm, recording impressions becomes an arsenal to fight darkness later. A word written today may unlock tomorrow's doors. For instance, someone wakes at 3 a.m. strongly urged to pray for a friend. By writing it down, later they confirm that friend was in struggle at that exact moment. This strengthens faith, obedience, and shows the power of night prayer. The journal becomes living testimony of a calling answered. Recording also aids personal growth. Rereading notes reveals patterns, victories, and clarifies vocation. It's like piecing together a puzzle, each written moment showing God's care over time. The obedience of writing strengthens the mission of standing firm. Thus, journaling is more than discipline, it's a spiritual weapon. Those who keep this habit discover nothing is wasted. And when the body is tired but the spirit stirred, this contrast reveals the next reality: physical rest versus spiritual agitation. It's striking how the body can be exhausted, yet the spirit feels wide awake at 3 a.m. This contrast is no accident, it's part of the calling now. While the flesh seeks rest, God summons to obey and intercede. This inner stirring is not mere anxiety but a sign something greater is unfolding, asking participation. Many confuse it with insomnia, but it goes deeper. The heart races, thoughts sharpen, and an unseen force nudges prayer. It's as if the cross looms larger, reminding obedience is the path to victory over darkness. The body rests but the spirit fights. Example: someone wakes groggy but feels compelled to kneel. Even half asleep, they obey, pray a few minutes, then return to bed with peace. This proves strength comes not only from physical rest but from responding to the spiritual call. This contrast teaches discipline. Obeying this convocation places purpose above comfort. It grows faith and resilience for daily struggles. Whoever conquers themselves at night is ready to fight anything by day. So, when sensing agitation amid rest, don't ignore it. It may be the exact moment God invites you into something bigger. And often that something is not for you but for others. A call to intercede for lives, families, and nations. Not every 3 a.m. awakening is about you. Often, it's a silent convocation to pray for someone else in danger. This calling now reveals God's greatness, raising people willing to obey even without full understanding. The Spirit feels urgency, and prayer becomes a bridge of power between heaven and earth. How many have woken with a specific name in mind? That is no coincidence but a mission to fight in prayer. It's as if God hands out secret midnight assignments, entrusting hidden battles to his warriors. The cross reminds us victory is secured, but obedience releases it through intercession. Practical example: a mother wakes and prays for her distant son, unaware he faces an accident or risky decision. Her silent prayer may alter the outcome. This is the power of intercession, acting in the unseen to win battles others never notice. This calling also shows God's heart for cities and nations. Sometimes someone is awakened to cry out for their country, leaders, or places they've never visited. This vocation reminds us the mission is bigger than personal limits. It's about obeying and carrying others in prayer. Thus, the 3 a.m. awakening may mean it's not about you but a larger purpose. This convocation to intercede is love, surrender, and spiritual power. And because it's so deep, this time is also seen as prophetic. The hour of promise is activating. At 3 a.m., darkness is deepest, yet dawn approaches. Many call this the prophetic hour. It symbolizes the turning point, the shift from struggle to victory, silence to awakening. This calling now reminds us God moves in perfect time, and obedience here may release long-awaited promises. Many traditions see night as the open channel for prophecy. That's why testimonies of dreams, revelations, and directions often occur then. The Spirit seems closer, summoning warriors to intercede, declare, and fight for promises. The cross shines as proof victory is already won. Practical example: someone wakes with the word perseverance burning in mind. As they pray, clarity comes for a decision once impossible. That moment is no accident but a mission fulfilled, a purpose activated. Obeying is like signing agreement with heaven. The prophetic hour shows promises don't always manifest instantly. Sometimes the awakening is just the beginning. The Spirit rejoices even without visible fruit yet. Silent obedience sustains faith until fulfillment. It is a convocation to keep praying despite appearances. Thus, waking at 3 a.m. may confirm something is being activated in your life. This awakening is a prophetic password, signaling promises are in motion. And often they arrive through dreams, revealed precisely in this period. Dreams carry messages often overlooked, but when they happen around 3 a.m. they can hold prophetic weight. This calling now invites you not to ignore what was revealed. The Spirit, more sensitive then, may receive clear instructions, warnings, or confirmations of promises. Obeying the urge to note or reflect on dreams becomes a powerful weapon against darkness. It's common to wake from vivid dreams feeling they must be remembered. That is no accident. It's the Spirit awakening someone to pray or seek interpretation. The cross reminds us God speaks in many ways, dreams included. Obedience shows we value His trust. Example, someone dreams of a door opening and wakes at 3 a.m. By writing and praying, they realize it's about new opportunities in work or personal life. This simple obedience to the calling now transforms the future. Prophetic dreams also guide specific prayer. Instead of generic words, intercession becomes precise, confronting events yet to come. This strengthens vocation and mission to watch not only for self but for others. Each detail may be a spiritual code. Thus, waking from dreams at 3 a.m. should never be dismissed. It's a convocation to record, interpret, and apply. Ignoring it often means losing the chance to win battles ahead. Which is why God also uses this awakening to stir inner unease, pointing to unresolved areas. Sometimes 3 a.m. comes not with peace but with restlessness. This calling now is God's invitation to look inward, confront unresolved areas, and surrender at the cross. The body may crave sleep, but the spirit knows a convocation is underway, demanding obedience and courage to face ignored issues. This unease may relate to hidden sins, unsettled choices, or feelings long avoided. It's as if God says, "Stop running." In that moment, obedience means honest prayer, confession, forgiveness, or asking forgiveness. Surrender turns unrest into peace, darkness into light. Example, someone wakes recalling an unresolved argument. Instead of ignoring, they pray for the person, seek wisdom, and commit to reconciling. This act of obedience shows true strength, turning inner battles into victories. Surrender is hard but freeing. God uses the night because distractions are gone. In silence, the inner voice is louder, teaching that fighting doesn't mean resisting alone but yielding to divine power. Unease is really awakening to lighter, purposeful living. Thus, waking restless at 3 a.m. means change is needed. It's God's convocation to adjust the heart, win inner battles, and obey a higher call. And after surrender comes clarity to begin the day differently, strengthened by the Spirit. Waking at 3 a.m., praying, then returning to bed or starting the day can be a turning point. This calling now is a hidden gift, a chance to align with the Spirit before the world awakens. Obedience reveals the cross as more than sacrifice, it's strength for daily battles against darkness. Small actions then can affect the whole day. A short prayer may bring peace in tense meetings, clarity for choices, or protection from surprises. The 3 a.m. awakening is like receiving a head start. Obey early, win later. Example, someone begins the day with prayer, faces work stress, yet remains calm. They drew strength in the night. Like an athlete warming up before competition, the Spirit trains before real fights. Private awakening ensures public victory. Starting in the Spirit reframes routine. Mundane tasks become part of a mission. Each conversation, choice, or step carries eternal weight. The calling now is continuous, not only at dawn. Thus, seeing 3 a.m. as a chance to start with God is a privilege. It's answering a silent convocation that shapes character, strengthens faith, and opens space for divine power. Which brings us to the closing, applying all we've learned and making a choice. Now that you've seen the weight of 3 a.m., the question is, what will you do next time you wake then? Will you roll over and sleep or obey the calling now, rise in prayer, and embrace your mission? Every dawn can be the scene of victory or defeat. You've been summoned for more. Don't ignore the Spirit's awakening. Try kneeling, interceding, journaling, or simply staying still before God. These hidden moments shape character and strengthen faith. The cross already won. What remains is your response. So, what battle must you win today? In what area do you need strength, direction, or freedom? Share in the comments. Your story may awaken others too. This is a space for connection, prayer, and growth. If this message touched you, don't let it pass. Subscribe, hit the notifications, and keep walking with us. Here you'll find reflections that transform not just your nights, but your whole life. Because in the end, the real question is not if God will wake you at 3 a.m., but if you'll be ready to answer the call.